A contractor sits down at their laptop, opens a queue, sees a list of transactions waiting. Someone in New York wants to buy a pair of sneakers. Someone in London wants a jacket. Another in Tokyo wants a watch, a bag. The list keeps growing. One by one, the contractor opens each order, types in the card details, manually completes the checkout, moves to the next. This isn't a warehouse. It isn't a fulfillment center. This is not automation. This is not AI. This is something else. And this is where the story actually starts. Because the product they were powering had already told investors it didn't need them. The product was called Nate, and Nate was supposed to be AI. But according to federal prosecutors, most of that automation never existed. Humans were doing the work at scale. On April 9, 2025, the founder was indicted. Securities fraud, wire fraud. But this story isn't really about Albert Saniger. It's about something bigger, something happening right now. Because Nate wasn't an exception. It was a preview of a pattern spreading across the tech industry. A pattern with a name: AI washing. Right now, somewhere, a founder is making a decision. Their product works. It's useful. It even makes money. But it's not revolutionary. And they're about to write a pitch deck. They have two options. Option 1. Our software automates repetitive tasks. Option 2. Our AI-powered platform uses intelligent automation. Same product, completely different outcome. One gets ignored, the other raises millions. That's the incentive. Because today, AI isn't just a technical description anymore. It's a financial multiplier. It changes what a company is worth. It changes the size of the round it can raise. It changes the price it can charge, the government contracts it can win, the acquisition offers it receives, how seriously people take you. It changes belief. And that's where the problem begins. Because once the story gets ahead of the product, it's very hard to bring it back. And most companies don't. They keep going. They keep selling the story until the story becomes the product. And by then, it's already too late. AI washing isn't one thing, it's a spectrum. At one end, there's exaggeration. A company stretches the truth, rounds up, calls basic automation AI, not illegal, but not honest either. In the middle, there's strategic ambiguity. The company knows. They know the AI claims are overstated. They write press releases carefully. They never technically say the wrong thing, but they never say the right thing either. They live in the gap between what you heard and what they said. This is where it starts to get legally dangerous. And this is where most of the companies you've heard of leave. At the far end, there's deliberate fraud. Albert Saniger at Nate Incorporated allegedly knew the AI wasn't working. He hired hundreds of contractors to replace it and kept telling investors the AI was handling 90% of transactions. But the Nate case matters for a second reason. It wasn't just investors who were misled. Customers using the app believed they were experiencing the future of shopping. The person completing their order was a human being on the other side of the world, doing it by hand, at scale. If you watched our Builder.ai video, you've seen a similar pattern. A company raising hundreds of millions of dollars on AI claims. The real fraud, buried not in the technology, but in the accounting. Revenue reported at 4 times the actual figure. Invoices exchanged for services that didn't exist. And the engineers who built real systems smeared by a story about fake ones. These aren't isolated incidents. They're a pattern, and the pattern has fingerprints. Here's what I've found, and what investigators, journalists, and prosecutors have found in every major AI washing case. 5 signals. Each one is explainable on its own. But when you see 2 or 3 of them together, pay close attention. Tell sign 1, language without meaning. AI-powered, intelligent automation. Machine learning at its core. Data-driven AI. If everything sounds impressive, but nothing is specific, you're not looking at technology. You're looking at marketing. Because real AI can be explained. Fake AI can only be described. And that difference matters more than you think. Tell sign 2. The team can't build it. Go to LinkedIn, find the company, filter by employees. How many have machine learning, AI research, NLP, or computer vision backgrounds? A company building real AI has AI engineers, multiple of them. Usually disproportionately many. It's expensive talent, and they hire aggressively. If the team that built this AI company is primarily sales directors, marketing leads, and business development managers, with one AI advisor listed on the About page, ask yourself, who built the AI? Because someone has to build it. And if you can't find them, they might not exist. Tell sign 3. The demo never fails. Real AI breaks. Constantly, it hallucinates, it misclassifies, it breaks on edge cases. Any AI engineer will tell you this without hesitation. It's not a weakness, it's just the nature of how these systems work. So when something works perfectly, every time, in a controlled environment, and they keep finding reasons why you can't test it yourself on your own inputs in a real scenario, that's not confidence. That's choreography. It means what you're seeing might not be real. Tell sign 4. The marketing budget is bigger than the R&D budget. When a company spends more telling the story than building the system, the story becomes the product, and that's where things start to collapse. Tell sign 5. The AI lives in the pitch deck, not the product. This is the most subtle tell, and in some ways, the most important. Where does this company talk about AI? Is it in the investor materials, the press releases, the earnings calls? Or is it in the technical documentation, the engineering blog, the API reference, the developer guides? A real AI product bleeds technical detail. The engineers write about it. The documentation covers it. The error messages reference it. You can feel the system underneath. An AI story lives in PowerPoint. Find the engineers. Read what they've written. If there's nothing there, that tells you something. I want to tell you about a man named Robbie Martin. His father was 82 years old. He'd fractured his back. He needed rehabilitation care, skilled nursing, physical therapy, the kind of post-acute care that helps elderly patients recover enough to go home safely. His insurer was United Health Group. His plan was Medicare Advantage. United Health uses an AI tool called NH Predict. It's designed to estimate when patients are ready to be discharged. The lawsuit, which a federal court allowed to proceed in early 2025, alleges the tool was overriding the recommendations of treating physicians, cutting off coverage, denying rehab, telling elderly patients on Medicare that they'd recovered enough. Robbie Martin's father had his coverage cut. Repeatedly. He was sent home. After his coverage ended, he suffered a fall and later died. The lawsuit alleges that United Health was aware of the AI tool's inaccuracies. Lawsuits and internal reports suggest that when patients or providers appeal denials generated by NH Predict, over 90% of those denials are overturned, and that the appeals process was designed to be so exhausting that most patients simply gave up or couldn't continue because they'd already deteriorated. United Health denies the characterization of how NH Predict is used. The case is moving forward, and Robbie Martin's father is gone. This is what happens at the far end of the spectrum. Not when a CEO inflates a startup's valuation, not when an investment firm exaggerates their algorithm, but when an AI system that was sold as clinically reliable is used to make decisions about whether someone's father gets care. AI washing isn't always about money. Sometimes it's about trust. And when you lie about what a system can do, and people make real decisions based on that lie, the consequences are irreversible. The Securities and Exchange Commission charged 2 investment advisory firms, Delphia and Global Predictions, in March 2024 for falsely claiming their investment strategies were AI-driven. First enforcement actions of their kind. The FTC launched 5 simultaneous enforcement actions in September 2024, Operation AI Comply, targeting companies using AI claims to run income fraud schemes. The Department of Justice indicted Albert Saniger in April 2025. But regulation is always late. It arrives after the harm. It fines after the money is spent. It indicts after the investors are gone. You cannot wait for regulators to protect you from this. So what can you do? You are now harder to fool than you were 15 minutes ago. Not because I gave you a checklist, but because you understand why the trick works, and tricks only work on people who can't see the mechanism. So here's the shift. You don't need to understand AI. You need to understand the story around it, because the story is where the risk lives. Ask better questions. Look in the right places. And most importantly, don't trust a system that can't explain itself. Because real technology invites scrutiny. Fake technology depends on belief. If an AI system is making decisions that affect your health, your money, or your legal rights, you have the right to ask what it is, what it was trained on, what its error rate is, who reviewed the output, whether a human was in the loop. The companies that built something real will welcome those questions. The companies that didn't will make it difficult. That's how you know. AI literacy has become a survival skill, not technical literacy. You don't need to understand how a neural network is trained, but the ability to ask the right question, to look in the right place, to notice when a story is too clean, the demo is too perfect, the team is too thin, the company's performing AI. They need you to believe before you look too closely. So, look closely. Every time, somewhere right now, there's a system claiming to be AI, and somewhere else, there's a human doing the work behind it. The difficult part isn't believing in technology. The difficult part is knowing when you're looking at technology and when you're looking at a story. So the next time you hear a company say their AI can do something extraordinary, don't just ask what it does. Ask how much of it actually exists, because the next breakthrough might already be falling apart. So here's the question I want to leave you with. When a company says it's powered by AI, how much of it do you think actually is? 10%, 50%, or something much smaller? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you want to see the next billion-dollar deep dive, subscribe and turn on your notification so you don't miss the coming video. See you in the next one.